So, ladies and gentlemen, the UEFA Champions League Round of 32 draw has officially completed. And listen, we did not expect a lot of big games like we saw last year's Champions League when we did get City versus Real Madrid. Some of those games, guys, I feel like we were very, very unlucky to get some good games in the Round of 32. Regardless of that, we did get some games that are definitely caused or have definitely caused an eye race, guys. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Omar Talks Football. And ladies and gentlemen, like I just mentioned, the Champions League Round of 32 literally concluded a few hours ago. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, there were some games that are going to be very, very good to watch. There's definitely some games that, maybe there's not a lot of games that I would say are pleasing in the eye, but we do have some interesting games to say the least. But the game, without a shadow of a doubt, that is going to get most or all of the attention in the Round of 32 is none other than this game, ladies and gentlemen. Because yes, literally, the last game in the Champions League, Real Madrid got their chain snatched against Benfica. And guess what? The draw has decided to give them another opportunity to run the fade at the Estadio da Luz, and they will be going back once again at that stadium after they literally just got beaten there. It is Real Madrid going away to Benfica. And listen, if you're someone that watching my video yesterday where I was breaking down the format, but also talking about the potential teams that could play each other in the Round of 32, we kind of knew this was a high opportunity of happening, right? The potential opponents of Real Madrid were either Benfica or Bordeaux Glimt. It was literally one of the two. And I guess that's why I would say, to be honest with you, is one of the things that kind of disappoints me about this current draw of the UCL, right? It's kind of predictable. You kind of know the teams that are likely to play each other. Like, we already know, okay, Real Madrid, they're playing Benfica. If they do beat Benfica, that means that in the round of 16, we already know they're either going to take on Manchester City or Sporting Lisbon. Now, that for me is one of the criticisms I do have on this current format, right, of the Champions League, right? In the draw, it's very predictable. We already know who's playing who, and that is something I guess that stinks, because the one thing that was thrilling about the previous format of the Champions League is that, even though, in the round of 16, we knew teams from the same league couldn't play each other, there was always a potential of any team that finished top could play any team that finished second in any group, apart from the teams that were in the same league. So you had a high potential of seeing a huge game. That was one of the best things about the former format. Now, it's not the same. Even if we know which teams could potentially play each other, like I mentioned, that the fact that we know that we could see a Real Madrid versus City game, the fact that we already know we can already have that, it's kind of killed the buzz. You kind of want to be surprised during the draw in the Champions League. But just to kind of keep it back to this news, Real Madrid once again going to Benfica. Now look, I'm going to be very, very honest with you guys. I'm going to be very, very honest. Real Madrid, they turn up in the knockout stages. If we can just put all our bias aside, right? Even as a Barca fan, I'll admit, Real Madrid, if you look at them in their Champions League record, right? If we're going to keep it 100, they don't really have a lot of good records in the group stages of the Champions League. Yes, they've had some years when they finished top of the table, back in the old format, right? But if you look at Real Madrid in the past, I would say last 10 years, right? They haven't really shown their best form until they reached the knockout stage. So, look, I'm going to be very honest with you, right? It was truly amazing and hilarious to see Real Madrid lose to Benfica. But I'm going to be very honest with you, I think this is going to be a different game. However, I will say this about Benfica. If many people remember last season when we in the Champions League, they actually played Barcelona. If you guys remember, we played them in the group stages at the Estadio da Luz, and crazy thing is, it was arguably the best game in the entire Champions League last season. It was a 5-4 in the group stages, and then literally In the round of 16, because we didn't play them in the round of 32, they did win against Monaco. Once again, we played them at the Estadio da Luz. Again, our first game of the knockout stages was against Benfica, and we won all 3 games. So maybe Benfica might count their lucky stars. They'll be happy about this because, let's be honest, in their game against Real Madrid, they won, and also it was a fully deserved win. No one can they can't sit there and be like, well, they got lucky. Real Madrid were just wasteful, and Benfica were just more clinical in the end. No, Benfica deserved to win this game against Real Madrid. They 100% deserved it, right? The bright team won, and because of how well they performed, I think that they will be confident. I think that a lot of their fans will look at this game and they will say, listen, let's just keep the same level. Let's go with the fearlessness that we went in the game in the group stages, in the final game. Let's go with that same fearlessness. Let's go with that same confidence. This Real Madrid team, as good as they are, like I mentioned, going in the knockout stages, we've seen them be vulnerable. The game in the Estadio da Luz was one of those times, right? They were extremely vulnerable, and you guys took advantage. So, I'll be honest with you. Benfica should be happy about this because, at the end of the day, they've already shown that they can get it done, right? And the other option was Inter, which, I'll be honest, right? I think Benfica would have been preferred Inter over Real Madrid, but it is what it is in the end. But listen, let's be honest, right? This is the big one, but it's not the only game, ladies and gentlemen, that we do have in the Champions League. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is the rest of the games in the Champions League. Now, we kind of knew, like I mentioned, how the draw was going to go, but listen, let's be honest, guys. Tell me what you guys think about some of the games. Obviously, Benfica versus Real Madrid is the first game, guys, that we talked about already. But look at the other games, guys. We have Bodo Glimt versus Inter Milan, and it's going to be at home at Bodo Glimt. And I'll be honest with you, this is, the other option for Real Madrid in the Champions League. It was either going to be Benfica or Bodo Glimt. And I will say this about the Bodo Glimt game. I think Bodo Glimt will be happy to have this Inter game because, listen, I'm very honest, this is a different Inter team. This is not the Inter team that we saw last season in the Champions League final. Completely different team. This team is more vulnerable. They concede more goals. They're not as defensively strong as they were last season. And Bodo Glimt, man, like, what a way they ended the Champions League for them, right? The fact that they won the last two games against Man City and Atletico Madrid. Especially beating Atletico Madrid away, they will definitely be happy. And they will fancy their chances for sure in the round of 32 against Inter. Because let's be honest, Inter did beat Dortmund, but Inter are vulnerable, right? I think if they underestimate Bodo Glimt, we could see a surprise in that game. Obviously, the next game is Dortmund versus Atalanta. And this is, quite frankly, one of the better games in the Champions League. I think when you look at these two teams, attacking-wise, they've shown that they can definitely cause trouble for teams, right? For both Dortmund and Atalanta. Dortmund didn't really end their Champions League group stages in style, really, let's be honest. Atalanta, to be honest, they also, I feel like they really bottled it in the end because they really had a high chance of finishing top 8, but they didn't take it. And, they're going to be going once again in round of 32. They were unlucky in their last group, basically round of 32 against Club Brugge, but this time around against Dortmund, it could be anyone's game. And speaking of Club Brugge, they will be taking on Atletico Madrid at home. Atletico Madrid have not exactly been amazing in the Champions League in this season. Club Brugge, I gotta give them a credit, man. They are not an easy team to play against, especially at home. Their form at home is really good, and they will definitely fancy their chances at home, and they will be hoping that they will take advantage of the home game in the first leg. And the next game, guys, we do have is Galatasaray versus Juventus. And look, man, I will not be surprised if Galatasaray knock out Juventus. Juventus, they got knocked out by PSV in the round of 32 last year. So, I'm sorry if I don't have any confidence that they're going to do anything, right? They have not been impressing me at all, right? And I'll be honest, I think Galatasaray have a very, very high chance of making it in the round of 16. And then, next up, guys, we do have Monaco versus PSG. PSG, once again, made the round of 32. Once again, they play another League 1 team. Last season, it was Stade Brestois in the Champions League Round of 32, which they won 10-0 on aggregate. Crazy. So, Monaco, listen, man, I'm not expecting Monaco to really do anything in this game. But, hey, listen, man, maybe they might take the home advantage and give themselves a big shot. Who knows? But next up, we do have Olympiacos versus Bayer Leverkusen. Olympiacos they're a pretty good team at home. They're a very, very good team at home. And listen, Leverkusen, they're not the same Leverkusen of the past. Not at all. But, at the end of the day, I don't know. I feel like this game between Leverkusen and Olympiacos is very close, especially if Olympiacos can take advantage and win at home. And finally, we have Karabakh versus Newcastle United. And I'm going to be very honest with you guys. I think that Newcastle United are probably the biggest winners in the entire playoff groups, guys, because they probably got the easiest game on paper. They definitely had the easiest game on paper. They will be very, very, very happy to get Karabakh in the round of 32. And listen, Karabakh, don't really expect much from them. I really didn't even expect them to finish in, where they finished in the playoff. I don't think a lot of people expected them to even be here, right? So the fact that they've made it this far, it's quite impressive for Karabakh. And listen, who knows, man? They're playing their first game in Baku. Maybe they might take advantage, but I think Newcastle United will be the happiest of the teams in the round of 32 and in that group, guys. But listen, let me know what you guys think about everything I just mentioned in this video, guys. I mean, listen, it's quite interesting, man. Like I mentioned, we're kind of disappointed we didn't get any big games in the round of 32. It's really unfortunate, guys, that we didn't get any, games that would generate buzz apart from the Benfica versus Real Madrid games. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Who knows, guys? And maybe we could get some shocks in the round of 32. We're hoping so, and we're hoping that it is Real Madrid who do offer us the shocks by getting knocked out in the round of 32. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Let me know, guys, if your team is in the round of 32. Let me know who you guys are going to be playing. And also, guys, tell me how confident you are of, making it into the round of 16. But let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you guys smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, all of the beautiful stuff as usual. And big up to you guys. Big up to you guys. Peace. Take care.